wow, these cosplayers sure do look cool. I wish I could do that. But I don't know where to start. Do you want to cosplay, but you have no idea where to start or even what you need? Well, this is the video for you. In this video, I'm going to be talking about cosplay essentials that you need to start your journey, such as makeup, sewing supplies, crafting supplies, and where to get wigs and costumes. Alright, so first we're going to be talking about makeup. Me, personally, I go cheap because I'm poor. So this Fit Me foundation, this is what I use. I think this is my winter color, because being mixed, my skin doesn't stay one color the whole year. Anyways, I use this. I think it's like $7 at literally any drugstore or grocery store. And then this Hollywood, California Glam Glow. I use this. I only started using this recently. I like it. It's a moisturizer, but I use it as a primer. My other primer that I use is this one. It's a little more expensive, but I like it. It works. And some more essentials that you might need. Well, you definitely will need. It does not matter if you are cosplaying a male or a female, or anything in between, or anything outside of that. Lashes are your friend. Lashes and mascara. This is I Envy by, I think, Kiss. But I got these maybe a month and a half ago. Used them a couple times, but I really like them, and I love lashes. And excuse my busted ass container, but contour. You will need it. Obviously, I don't think mine is like the right tone for my skin, but it works for what I need it for, so I'm not complaining. And also, it was free. My sister gave it to me. This one is important. Powder. For the love of God, set your makeup with powder, because if you're doing like outdoor shoots, or even like going to a con or something, or even just walking around the house in your cosplay and it's like even slightly warm, your makeup will melt off unless you set and powder. This one is actually discontinued. This one is Besame Cosmetics, the Peggy Carter compact, which is the coolest thing ever. You literally can't find it anywhere else. Next up is eyeshadows. So my favorites, as I said, I'm a cheapskate. So I have this Profusion Spectrum palette. It says 10 shade pro pigment palette. And boy, are they pro pigments. Whew. Look at how beautiful. But this was only $5, and for people who are just getting started in cosplay, this is definitely a good option for like people who don't want to shell out like a ton for body paints and stuff. This would get you pretty far, actually, because it's pigmented, and with a good primer underneath, who knows where you might go. Now, for body paint, for people who actually do want to buy body paint, my favorite so far are these little itty bitty thingies. This one is Forest Green, and this one is Kelly Green. I think this Kelly Green one is the one I use for my Alphabet cosplay, so if you're doing a Wicked Witch, perfect. Kelly Green by Ben Nye. That's your best bet. And my other favorite Ben Nye is the Ben Nye Rainbow Wheel. And Ben Nye these ones specifically are cream paints. I'm not sure if Ben Nye makes aqua paints. For aqua paints, I use Mayron, but I don't like that palette, so I'm not including it in this video. for people who like need to like round out their face a little more, or like Disney characters or like cartoon characters, blush. I just use dollar store blush, and I don't know where it is right now because I haven't cosplayed in a while, but I just use dollar store blush and it works pretty well. It's very, very pigmented, so if you do use dollar store blush, go lightly, otherwise you'll look like a grandma. Next, we're going to be talking about wigs and costumes. Personally, my favorite place to get wigs is Arda. Arda, they're relatively affordable, but like, if you want like a decent wig, you gotta be prepared to pay out the booty for it. So, one of my wigs, the one I use for my Anna cosplay, that one was $40 with shipping, and my Ariel wig, here she is, right here, she's so beautiful. She's my pride and joy. This is the very first wig I styled, ever. But this one was $50 plus shipping, and it came literally within 3 days after I ordered it, which was pretty awesome. And my other favorite place to get wigs is Amazon, but not just anywhere on Amazon. My favorite wig shop on Amazon is Chrisma. I think that's how you say it, Chrisma. But I have two of their wigs. One is a black wig, which was only $20, and for $20 you would think, oh, it's gonna be so skimpy and patchy. No, it's actually really good. Like, I've had it for nearly a year. It's held up pretty well, and with any synthetic wig, it sheds. So, you know, there's no workaround around that. So, I have that black wig, and I have my white wig, which I used for Elsa and Harley Quinn. I'm still trying to think of more things to do with that wig, because my white wig was $40, but because it's Amazon, I have Prime, so shipping is free. With Chrisma wigs, shipping is free because they're Prime, whatever. But I think if you're going for genuinely affordable wigs that actually are comparable to Arda, Chrisma is your best bet, honestly. I don't buy from anywhere besides Arda and Chrisma, and I don't plan to. For costumes, there are 1,000,001 places you could buy them from. Me personally, I prefer Amazon, but for the love of God, check the reviews, check the pictures. Like, the pictures usually are more informative than the words, because someone could say, oh, it's great, and then when you look at it, it looks like garbage. For instance, my favorite Amazon costume I've gotten is my Anna costume, and you would think for like $30, you know, it'd be crappy. It could use a little work, but that's more on my part than anything. But this is a real metal medallion, which I think is awesome, and this is actual velvet. This is real velvet, which slaps immensely. My other favorite place to get costumes, I know it's very, very frowned upon in the princess business anyway, to buy your costumes at Party City, but the second Frozen 2 merch started coming out, I took my butt to Party City, dropped $60 on this. It is very much worth $60. I've done, I think, a couple appearances as Frozen 2 Anna. It was very fun, very fun. I got to hang out with my niece's classmates and her school, and I got to see Frozen 2 for free because I showed up as Anna, and the little kids loved it. But that's besides the point. Anyways, Party City, for $60, that costume's really, really thick. I was out in the freezing cold when I first took my picture, like my test pictures. It kept me pretty warm, you know, with the exception of my hands, but you know, that's pretty common for any costume that doesn't have gloves. But that's one of my favorite costumes. Like, I only have a few, but that one's my favorite of all time. It's comfortable. It was actually really affordable. It hasn't ripped on me or anything yet. Alright, so next we're going to be talking about crafting and sewing materials. Now, a prop is not essential, but it is fun to make, and when you go to conventions or when you take pictures, it's a lot easier to pose when you either have something in your hands or you have something to like kind of focus on. Like, this is my very, very poor attempt at Papa Emeritus III's Pope hat. I'm very proud of the crucifix, so I tell you what, that I'm very proud of this. This thing took me 3 hours. But you know what it's made out of? Cereal box! Honey bunches of oats, no less. But this took me 3 hours. I used gouache and a cereal box and tape. That's it. That's literally it. And it worked pretty well, actually. I was surprised at how well it worked. And I have a mini crucifix that I used to make a fake rosary, and those pictures actually turned out really cool. And then this thing I haven't used for any pictures or anything. I just made it because I can. But anyone with half a brain knows what this is. This took probably 5 hours to make. It cost less than $20 to make though, so that was fun. But crafting items, you don't have to go all out for it. You really don't. You don't have to spend a fortune on it. You can, like I said, I made this from a cereal box. And pretty much anyone, you know, they have a cereal box or the boxes that frozen pizzas come in. Those are perfect for making stuff like this, or my Scarlet Witch headpiece I made from like 7 pizza boxes, stacked and glued them together, and I think floral wire. Yeah, that was it, and some hot glue. Then just painted it. I do not recommend gouache though for painting cardboard or just anything really. If you're not making like art on a canvas or something, don't use gouache. Use acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is your best friend when it comes to prop making, because I have used acrylic paint for my aerial bra, which I haven't finished yet. But acrylic paint you could get, well, the matte finish anyway, you can get for 50 cents at Walmart. I spent $3 and got 6 paints. So that was pretty cool. If you're looking to spend a little more, but you want sturdier props, EVA foam is really good. I bought a absolutely massive sheet of EVA foam from Joann's like last week. I haven't used it yet, but I bought it for my Catra headpiece, and it's $12.99. But Joann's, they have everything you need for cosplay. They have, obviously it's Joann fabric, so they have fabric, they have EVA foam, sewing stuff, all that. That Joann's, based on what I know, I haven't heard anything funky about them, so I'm gonna keep supporting. I love Joann's. And I got fake fur for my Catra ears. Might make something else out of the rest of the fur, because that's a lot of fur. But oh, hot glue. Hot glue is also a must. Buy a hot glue gun. You can get one for maybe $15 at Walmart. Then you can get just the little glue sticks. You can get those for $1 at the dollar store. Or even at the craft store, you can get a big old bag for maybe $5. I'm not sure about that one. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to go and check your local craft store. But hot glue guns, floral wire, you can find at the dollar store. If you're making flower crowns or like using flowers for anything like Rapunzel wigs, flower crowns, stuff like that, you can find fake flowers at the dollar store or Walmart. Now, if you're someone who doesn't like to buy costumes and you'd rather make your costumes but you've never done that kind of thing before, I suggest you find some old clothes that you don't need anymore. or that you don't fit anymore, and you know, practice sewing on that before you start moving on to like expensive fabrics. And with that, here's some essential sewing supplies that you're gonna need. Invest in a good pair of fabric scissors, because especially for cutting thick fabrics like leather or, you know, fake fur, which is what I especially needed it for, or fleece even, you know, it helps to have a good fabric scissor. And of course, a measuring tape. One of these, you know, retractable ones, it's so much easier to use than just one of those long ones, you know, where it's just out. And this is a lot easier to store and keep track of. Like, you don't have to worry about, you know, dumping things out when you try to grab it. Another thing, if you are not really confident in your seamstress abilities, safety pins will be your friend. Safety pins and hot glue. Safety pins, you could use them to pin your costumes together, you know, keep them held up. You know, there's a lot of things you could use safety pins for. I don't have any like regular like pins, so I just use safety pins as wig pins and like pins to hold things in place while I'm sewing. If you're going to be drawing on black fabrics, invest in some kind of like fabric medium like chalk or like colored pencils or something that will make a visible mark on your fabric but will still come off. Like my cat ears, I used white chalk pastel because that's all I had, but it worked. And if it's on the inside of the pattern or whatever, no one's gonna see the chalk marks, and it rubs off easy anyway, so it doesn't really matter.